Welcome to the deep dive. This time, we're diving into the world of Ayn Rand's Atlas Shrugged.
Okay.
To explore a character, you're curious about Hank Rearden.
All right.
You've asked if he's just a poster boy for ruthless capitalism or, a more complex figure.
That's a question that gets right to the heart of Rand's work. Rearden is often seen as this titan of industry, the inventor of Rearden Metal.
Right.
But he embodies so much more than just economic theory.
Okay, so let's unpack that. For those maybe not familiar with the book, who is Hank Rearden? What makes him tick?
Hank Rearden is the epitome of the driven creator. He's an inventor, a builder, someone who sees possibilities where others see only limitations. Rearden Metal, his crowning achievement. It embodies the spirit. It's stronger, lighter, more durable than anything else in their world.
Right.
But more importantly, it represents years of relentless effort, a refusal to compromise his vision.
He sounds almost like superhuman in his ambition.
Yeah.
Yet the source material you provided mentions internal conflict. What's eating at this titan of industry?
That's where Rand digs beneath the surface. Rearden is deeply ambitious, driven,
Right.
but he's also burdened by guilt and societal expectations.
Really?
He constantly wrestles with family demands, particularly from his wife,
Oh.
and this underlying pressure that his success is somehow immoral.
It's fascinating that he's made to feel guilty for his accomplishments.
Yeah.
Is that where this idea of rational self-interest comes into play?
Exactly. Rand uses Rearden to explore the conflict between self-sacrifice and what she calls rational self-interest.
Okay.
This doesn't mean disregarding others, but recognizing that each individual has the right to pursue their own happiness and find meaning in their achievements.
So it's not about being selfish, but about owning your success and not feeling obligated to constantly apologize for it.
Precisely. Rearden is constantly told, both explicitly and implicitly, that he owes his success to others. His family, for example, demands his financial support, while simultaneously criticizing his work and belittling his accomplishments.
That sounds incredibly stifling. It's almost like he's being punished for his ambition and drive to create.
In a way, he is, but this conflict is essential to Rearden's journey. He's torn between his desire to achieve, to build, to create,
Right.
and the guilt trip laid on him by those who benefit from his success, but don't share his values. This is where his relationship with Dagny Taggart comes in stark contrast. While Lillian represents this societal pressure Rearden faces, Dagny is cut from a different cloth. She sees and admires his drive and ambition, understanding the value he creates.
This is really interesting because you previously described Dagny Taggart as a force of nature in her own right. How does their relationship further Rearden's development?
Their connection is pivotal. Dagny helps Rearden recognize that his ambition and success aren't inherently wrong. Their relationship, while unconventional, is built on a foundation of mutual respect and a shared understanding of the world, something Rearden desperately needs.
It's almost like Dagny acts as a catalyst, helping him break free from those societal chains.
Exactly. And this liberation becomes even more crucial as Rearden faces opposition from a new source, the government itself.
We're talking about the government in Atlas Shrugged now, a force that the source material described as controlling and oppressive. How does Rearden respond to this new challenge?
Initially, he attempts to reason with them. He tries to play by the rules, believing it's his duty to comply even though the laws feel increasingly unjust. He even surrenders control of Rearden Metal, believing he's serving the greater good. But this compromise eats away at him.
It seems like a classic case of a creator clashing with a system that wants to control and regulate innovation.
Precisely. And this is where the concept of the looters becomes important. In Rand's philosophy, the looters represent individuals and institutions that attempt to control and profit from the efforts of creators like Rearden. They manipulate the system through regulations and policies to redistribute wealth and stifle individual achievement.
So in Rearden's case, the government and its policies are essentially enabling the leaders to capitalize on his genius.
You've hit the nail on the head. The more Rearden gives in, the more they take. And this is where John Galt enters the picture.
Ah, John Galt. He's like this enigmatic figure in the novel, almost mythical. What role does he play in Rearden's struggle against this system that seems determined to exploit him?
John Galt is the ultimate symbol of rebellion against this collectivist system in Atlas Shrugged. He's a brilliant inventor who understands the parasitic nature of the looters who feed off the true producers in society. He recognizes the injustice inherent in a system that seeks to control and exploit individual talent.
So Galt decides to hit them where it hurts. by organizing a strike of the mind.
Exactly. He orchestrates a mass exodus of the most brilliant minds, inventors, artists, entrepreneurs, convincing them to withdraw their talents from a system that seeks to exploit them.
And Rearden is drawn to this movement. How does this tie into his journey of self-discovery?
Remember, Rearden has been battling this ingrained guilt, this feeling that he owed something to society. As the government tightens its grip and the looters become more emboldened, he starts to see the truth. He recognizes that he's pouring his lifeblood into his work only to be bled dry by a system that doesn't value him.
So joining Galt's strike becomes Rearden's ultimate act of defiance, a way to finally break free from the shackles of guilt and societal pressure.
Absolutely. It's Rearden declaring, "My mind is my own. My work is my own. I will not be enslaved by a system that seeks to crush my spirit." He chooses to stand alongside those who champion individual achievement and freedom.
This decision to join the strike comes at a huge cost, though, doesn't it? He's essentially giving up everything he's built.
On the surface, it appears that way, but for Rearden, it's no longer about material wealth. It's about something far greater. It's about reclaiming his right to exist as an individual, to think for himself, to create, without being punished for his success.
It's a powerful statement about the importance of individual freedom and the courage it takes to stand up for what you believe in, even when it means going against the grain.
And this is what makes Rearden such a compelling character. He's not just a symbol of capitalism, he's an embodiment of the creative spirit, the drive to build and contribute while resisting forces that seek to diminish or control that drive.
He represents the struggle many of us face, the desire to achieve and contribute while wrestling with external pressures and expectations.
Precisely. His story compels us to ask ourselves, what does it truly mean to be free? Where do we draw the line between our responsibility to ourselves and the demands of society?
These are profound questions. And it seems like Ayn Rand, through Rearden's journey, challenges us to examine our own beliefs about success, ambition, and the role of the individual in society.
Absolutely. And this is where the true depth of Rearden's character comes into focus. He's not simply a one-dimensional symbol of capitalist greed, as some might interpret him. He's a complex individual grappling with fundamental questions about morality, purpose, and the nature of freedom itself.
He's a man of contradictions, driven by both ambition and a deep sense of justice and fairness.
Exactly. And it's this internal conflict that makes him such a compelling and enduring character in literature.
So to bring it back to our listener's question, is Hank Rearden just a poster boy for ruthless capitalism?
I think it's clear that he's much more than that. He's a symbol of the individual spirit, the drive to create and the courage to stand up for what you believe in, even when it's difficult.
He goes from wrestling with guilt to essentially saying, my mind, my rules. It makes you think about the pressures we face even today to conform to societal expectations and the courage it takes to forge your own path. It's fascinating how Rand weaves these philosophical ideas into Rearden's journey. We've talked about rational self-interest and the looters,
Right.
but we haven't really defined objectivism itself. It seems pretty central to understanding Rearden's choices.
You're right, it is key. In a nutshell, objectivism, as Rand envisioned it, is a philosophy that places the individual and their ability to reason at the center of everything. It champions rational self-interest, meaning pursuing your own happiness is your moral purpose, but not at the expense of others. It also stresses the importance of productive achievement as a virtue.
So for Rearden, inventing Rearden Metal isn't just about getting rich.
Right.
It's about fulfilling his purpose as a creator, as a builder.
Exactly. And objectivism also views laissez-faire capitalism as the only moral social system because it's based on voluntary trade, not coercion. That's why Rearden initially tries to work within the system, but ultimately he finds it rigged against him by the looters.
And that's where his decision to join Galt's strike becomes even more significant. He's rejecting a system that claims to be for the greater good,
Right.
but actually stifles individual achievement.
Precisely. He chooses to withdraw his talents, his productivity, as the ultimate act of protest. It's a powerful statement about where true value lies, not just in material wealth, but in the creative spirit, in the power of the individual mind.
This brings us back to the significance of Rearden Metal itself.
Yeah.
It's not just a plot device. It seems to symbolize something, a lot deeper.
Absolutely. Rearden Metal represents innovation, the potential of the human mind to create something new and extraordinary, but it also becomes a tool for control, coveted by the government and the looters. It highlights this tension between individual creation and those who seek to exploit it.
It's almost like a microcosm of the entire conflict in Atlas Shrugged.
Yeah.
This battle between those who create and those who seek to control and dominate.
It hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
And Rearden's journey, his evolution from a guilt-ridden industrialist to this defiant striker, it forces us to confront these questions in our own lives.
It's certainly thought-provoking. It makes you consider the pressures we face, even today, to conform, to sacrifice our own ambitions for the sake of societal expectations. Rearden's story seems to say, maybe that's not always the right answer.
That's the beauty of Rand's work. It sparks debate. It challenges us to examine our own beliefs about success, about our role in society, about the very nature of freedom itself. There are no easy answers. But Rearden's journey provides a powerful lens through which to examine these questions.
He's a complex character, this Hank Rearden, far more than just a poster boy for capitalism. He grapples with guilt, with love, with the nature of freedom and responsibility.
And that's what makes him so compelling. He's a reminder that even in a world that often seems determined to diminish the individual, the power to choose your own path, to define your own value, ultimately lies within.
It's a powerful message, and one that resonates even decades after Atlas Shrugged was first published. So listener, we leave you with this. What does Hank Rearden's struggle mean to IU? Is he a hero? A cautionary tale? Or something in between? Let us know. And join us next time for another deep dive.